Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you. All right, welcome to episode 171 of 15 minutes of genius. Couple really quick laundry list items. I don't want to spend a lot of time on stuff about us because we have an amazing guest with a product that's seemingly everywhere in the US right now. But make sure to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcast. You can find us there. Just look for the 15 minutes of genius. Also, we're right here on LinkedIn. We post an episode once every couple weeks. And you can find us there and follow us on 15 Minutes of Genius on our company page on LinkedIn for updates. So without further ado, I have Jimmy DeCicco. He is the oldest brother as far as the 3-brother duo that runs the company Super Coffee. He's also the chief brand officer. Jimmy, how you doing, my man?
Alex, good to be here, brother. We've been trying to do this for a long time, so I'm glad we finally got on.
Absolutely. It was cool to get an email and a call from you, and we caught up recently. And I remember seeing you. Actually, it was fun. I saw you at BevNet, I believe. You and your brothers were there, and I only made it to the first day. Not to make it sound like it was their fault, but it was just the COVID spike was enormous. It was good, and then it spiked right before the event. So it was good when they planned it, but it spiked. And I actually got COVID the second day. May have not been from BevNet, I don't know. But I missed the entire second day of BevNet, and I was just in a hotel room recovering. So anyway, yeah, that's my memory of BevNet, was meeting you and then COVID. And then it wasn't you, it was someone else.
Yeah, hopefully I didn't give it to you.
Yeah, definitely not. You didn't seem sick at all when I met you. Anyway, randomness aside, I always like to, we start the show and the story and the product. I think anyone that's in the CPG space knows you, knows your brothers, knows the product, seen the product, drank the product. I'd like to start with just in the environment we're in today, the challenges that are here. And, small brands have challenges, but we're also here to say in the show, you're not alone, because big brands, despite growth, also have challenges. So I wanted you to, whatever you're comfortable sharing, to go into what types of challenges has Super Coffee had, or Kitu Life, the parent company, in this economy, in the CPG climate, what's been going well and what's been just a real challenge for you guys in the last year or so?
Yeah, it's a good question, man. So we were executing a straight up growth playbook, DSD playbook, the ones that you kind of read about, Mike Rapoli running at Vitamin Water and Ben Weiss running at Buy, and Rapoli doing it again at Body Armor. You go direct store delivery. That's what DSD stands for. You hire a big field sales team, you build displays, and you grow quickly. You can double, triple, quadruple your sales every year in the early years. And that growth was expensive, but that growth was rewarded with high valuations and big funding rounds in 2018 through 2021. And then when really it wasn't even COVID that shifted it. It was 2022 as interest rates started to climb, and fears of inflation and recession and the macroeconomic market changed. All of the investors that we'd taken money from are like, hey, let's slow down on growth and get to profitability. I think the challenge in beverage is those two things go hand in hand, right? You have to reach a certain scale. When margins are low, it's a high volume game and a high velocity game. And for a young brand, you're burning cash, or you're investing cash to hit that critical mass. So as we've pulled back on certain expenses like sales team and trade spend and marketing dollars, we have seen sales start to level off. Now we're making the right moves. We've discontinued several key product lines that we thought were going to be big growth drivers for us, like functional K-cups and ground coffee and espresso cans. We're refocusing our efforts on bottled coffee, but we're cutting out products that generated a lot of revenue for us last year. So it's humbling to see, to lap that year over year. Another channel that was really driving growth, but also driving cash burn, was D2C. So we had an expensive website. We were spending a lot of money on Facebook and Instagram ads, really driving growth through our own website. That was a loss leader for us. So at the end of 2022, we discontinued that, walking away from a big chunk of revenue, but directly improving the bottom line in the process. So I think this year has been humbling as we build a better business. And then we have a couple levers to pull in 2024 as we get back to growth in the bottled coffee category.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much there, but I think you're hearing it here from one of the co-founders of Super Coffee, Kitu Life, that they're making some cuts, they're adjusting their business strategy, and also looking to get to higher profitability and get to profitability. So it shows that growth is great, but it's only as good as the margins and the business model that you have. So when going into with the money you've raised and the VCs and everyone, are they fully understanding and aligned with your vision of what you are doing for the next couple years to further stabilize things, increase margins, and then get a better, just eventually become more profitable?
Yeah, I think everybody's aligned with the decisions we're making to right size the business and focus on our core SKUs, our highest volume SKUs. I think people are disappointed that the margins are lower than we expected at this size. I think none of us really knew what was going to happen when we pulled back on sales reps and marketing spend and sales on display. So I think that slowing the growth is scaring people. But you and I were catching up earlier, and it's like, what do you want? Do you want growth or do you want profit? And the answer is people want both. So we're trying to thread that needle. I think as we reset internally as an organization, we can really get back to growth by putting the right products in the right places with a very disciplined marketing and trade spend approach next year.
Yeah, I think that's really smart. I think, there's going to be the initial pullback, right, which is naturally going to happen. And it's good that your investors, your team, your board, they're all aligned with this, which is pull back. We're going to take a hit in sales, online, hit in sales, taking out some SKUs, and really having that disciplined approach that you're talking about. So with the innovation pipeline, are you going to put a lot of that on hold and just double down on the SKUs that you have currently?
Yep. So really rationalizing a lot of the SKUs that we have currently. Last year we got into fun flavors like strawberry glazed donut and blueberry muffin flavored iced coffees. And those serve a great purpose, right? They drive a lot of excitement, drive a lot of trial. They quickly become our best selling SKUs. But if they sit on the shelf as an everyday item, they become this long tail that cannibalizes our best selling core. So getting back to the core, and I think the biggest thing we learned over the last 2 years as we scaled nationally in food, MULO, convenience, mass, is that our products don't work everywhere, right? Healthy products don't work everywhere. I think probably most products don't work everywhere, meaning where we win in grocery stores, we're losing in convenience stores, right? It's two totally different shoppers. Like the grocery store shoppers, mostly female. Our customer's affluent. She's educated. She's health conscious. And when you put a super coffee in a convenience store, that's a blue collar male on his way to the job site, right? He wants something that tastes good, gives him energy. It's got to be cheap. He's getting his donuts and his Monster Energy on his way to work. He's not looking for a super coffee sweetened with monk fruit and stevia. So as we think about innovation, it's optimizing a product line for that channel and that customer. So we did just launch Super Coffee Extra. It's a 15-ounce can, kind of looks like a Java Monster, sweetened with sucralose, so it uses real milk, tastes amazing, still zero added sugar. We add a bunch of B vitamins to it. That's a product that is much more suited for that channel, and we'll continue to focus the bottles in the grocery channel.
Yeah, I think that's a really smart move, is the SKU rationalization and grocery and having like a different line. And that's not too uncommon where, it's like, Suja did this. I guess that's one comparison point. They had their premium product, the one that sold for, and in their case, $6-7. Yours sells for, I think, $4 to $5, somewhere in that range. But you're right, having a $2 version or a $2.50 version for anyone to get, because I would see this as going next to, and you probably already know this, but like the Frappuccino, right? Like the Starbucks one, which does, I think hundreds of millions, if not billions in sales, and taking a bite out of that one with people and saying same price point, added benefits, not 40 grams of sugar like the Frappuccino. So, it sounds like this is really maybe a dumb question, even though it's called 15 minutes of genius. You want to basically, at least for the purview of 3, 4, 5 years, stay in the coffee segment, not go outside of that segment, really continue doubling down on cleaner for you, MCT oil, at great added value coffee related drinks. Is that the track you're on?
Yeah, yeah, definitely sticking to ready to drink coffee and doing it in a functional way. Our mission is against added sugars, and we measure our impact by pounds of sugar we remove from America's diet. Yes,
Right.
we use MCT oil, which I know you guys love over there at
Oh yeah,
Genius
love it.
Smoothies. That's the freaking best. For me, the more mainstream you get, the less important that message of MCT oil and monk fruit becomes. You know, the message becomes this product tastes good, it's only 70 calories, and it gives you energy that lasts for hours, right? So really simplifying the functional benefits, trying to be mainstream with some niche benefits. And it's not always easy, right? Because like if somebody is looking for MCT oil, they resonate. Super coffee resonates with them. But if somebody's never heard of it, it's not a reason to believe. It's not something that you should put on the front of the pack. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier with product strategy, channel strategy.
Got it. Makes sense. One other question I have just relating to like the growth and trajectory, because again, you referenced it, which is like you're cutting back, right? Like, there's not less salespeople out there, less point of sale displays, all these things to get a better margin and eventually profitability, and keep going in that direction. So how do you grow? I mean, besides putting it in the right stores, if you're not if a brand doesn't have people hitting these stores consistently or not hitting as many, what are you really looking at to generate more growth in this case where we have to cut back?
Yeah, I think it's doing a better job with our retailer partners on the right trade spend, the right promotional calendar, the right display features, holding our distributors accountable to executing them. I think we took the burden upon ourselves, which in a lot of cases early brands have to, right? Distributors don't build brands. I think a lot of us would be lucky if the distributors filled the planogram mandate space, but those distributors have an incentive to sell more of your product. So giving them the right programming, giving them the right display features to execute, and over communicating with distributors on where you're at and where you're going to be is one way to do it. And then the second piece is really, as we eliminate the long tail of innovation from the shelf, you'd like to see some of those buyers come back into our core flavors like mocha latte, vanilla latte. And I think eventually we'll have the super coffee extra on shelf next to the 12-ounce super coffee bottles to really appeal to both audiences. Because right now we're really speaking to a small segment of the RTD coffee world. So I think getting innovation on shelf next to the core is going to be key. But to your point, I mean, we'll never have 15 SKUs on the shelf again. There was a time where we did do that.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I remember at like Target at one point, I think I saw at least 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, and in the Target local here, I remember when you guys first really started scaling, I just began seeing super coffee fridges in like Targets here and there. And the one I have that's in Torrance, the one that's in Manhattan Beach. I live in LA. I saw them, and that's another example where it's going to cost $1,000, right, to put in a fridge, extra couple hundred for shipping and all that. But the amount of velocity it produces, I saw people just waiting in line. It was strategically placed by your team, by your distributors, to where the velocity was 3, 4x a normal Target, where it's just sitting shelf stable on a shelf. So I think like I really like that answer, and it resonates really true, which is when you can't send an army of stormtroopers out, to all these stores, building the relationship from the top down is really key. And I think like retailers too, right? You think you said that, talking to the buyer, how can we work together to expand the set to get more sales? What can you do to feature us in certain parts of the store? So the top down is definitely where it's at.
Totally. No, dude, it's a good push. And those two stores you referenced are great stores. Not every Target deserves a refrigerator, right? You mentioned the word strategically placed.
Yep.
I think there's probably less than 50 super coffee fridges in the Target. There's over 1,700 Targets out there, and there's only 50 of them that have a fridge, because that $1,500 fridge becomes a real burden on the P&L when the velocities don't warrant the placement, the setup fee, the shipping, all that.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I can tell you these Targets are like, I mean, one used to be a super Target, and then the other Target in Torrance is like in the middle of intersections that are insane. I mean, like there's never not cars there. And it's actually the Target here I used to go to as a kid, just a side note, they're right across from Del Amo Mall. And Del Amo Mall at one point was the second biggest mall in the country.
Wow.
And you got so many people coming through there. So yeah, that Target, I don't think the world could end and that Target will still be there in Torrance.
Yeah.
It's just, they're massive. So popular. So let's go to our next segment here, which is called Rapid Fire Questions.
Let's do it.
Rapid fire questions.
Cool. And thank you just for being so freaking honest and transparent. And I think it's a breath of fresh air that, you know, even when things going well in the brand of your size, other founders that are other brands that are much smaller than yours and looking to make a mark, they really know that they're not alone in this game, and it's a hard game.
That's right, man. No, and I encourage anybody to reach out, because behind the headlines and behind the hype, there's always a fist fight going on the streets, and it's always a battle out here in beverage. So we are certainly not immune to the challenges that everybody else faces.
Exactly. All right, so I'm going to ask you 15 questions. We'll get through it as quickly as we can, 1 to 2 minutes. Here we go. Nothing too bad here. So, which usually means it's bad. I'm just kidding. For music, which decade is the best? The 70s, 80s, or 90s?
90s.
What do you do for exercise?
I run, I ride an assault bike, and I lift weights in my garage.
Assault bike, do you say?
Yeah, it's like the bike with the fan on it and the arms, you know.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking assault bike. That's what
Assault.
I heard.
Yeah.
That's what it's called?
ALT. Yeah.
Okay, got it. I didn't know they called it that. Interesting. Why do they call it that? It's funny.
That's the brand. Yeah.
Oh, it's the brand. Okay, got it. They were like, yeah, I just ride an assault bike on the street. You know, people just get out of the way because it could assault someone. I think of it like the bike in like Mad Max has like spikes on it.
Yeah. I pedal that thing.
Pedal it, yeah. Movie you can watch an unlimited amount of times.
Remember the Titans.
Yep, great movie. Denzel Washington, right?
That's right.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Favorite country to travel to?
Italy.
Favorite Star Wars character?
Chewbacca.
Nice. Do you like to drive an SUV, a coupe, or a truck?
SUV.
For food, salty or sweet?
Salty.
Not sweet because of coffee, right? It's sweet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Like it. Didn't expect that. Favorite day of the week and why?
Monday, feeling fresh, motivated, ready to tackle the week. By Friday, you're pretty worn out.
Yep, love it. Uber or Lyft? Which one do you prefer?
Uber. Never use Lyft.
LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or Kobe Bryant? Who's the GOAT?
Kobe. Grew up watching Kobe.
Nice. Did you grow up? What city or what area did you grow up in?
Grew up in upstate New York, about 2 hours north of New York City. But my brothers and I all just gravitated toward Kobe, so we were Lakers fans living in New York.
Yeah, I saw Kobe in a exhibition game against China in 1995 in Long Beach. Before he was just drafted, and there was like some trade that happened in the draft or something. I don't know the specifics, where he went from the Hornets to the Lakers.
Yep.
Best trade of all time for the Lakers, obviously.
Ever.
And I saw him playing against China, and he was I think he scored like 50 points. And my dad, he's like, have you heard of Kobe? I don't even know who Kobe is. And he's like, yeah, he's going to be probably one of the best players in the NBA. Watch. And then he was right. So interesting. So I saw him before he was even famous. Terminator 1 or Terminator 2? Which one do you like better?
Terminator 1.
Really? Why?
Oh, that was just the first time I've ever seen Arnold on the big screen.
Yep. Very true. So you never saw Conan the Barbarian, his earlier stuff? Yeah, I didn't see it either. That was the first movie I've ever seen him in. Favorite food or drink if you're stuck on a deserted island? You cannot say super coffee and you cannot say genius juice.
Ooh. Does it have to be naturally occurring on the island, or can it be something?
No, there could be a plane that could drop in whatever you want.
Dang. Oh, man. I think if it was only one thing, it would have to be shrimp. And it sounds like there'd be a lot of shrimp on that island, so I'd be in good shape.
Perfect. Yeah, that works out great. It makes perfect sense. All right, so that is rapid fire questions with Jimmy DeCicco, co-founder and oldest brother of Kitu Life, which brings you super coffee. You can find super coffee basically everywhere. We don't even have to plug it. If you're, Target, Kroger, Albertsons, I think you've done some stuff in Costco as well. We've seen. So if you walk outside and just throw your phone 100 yards in any direction and go into a store, likely it's going to be there. So, yeah.
Alex, thank you for the kind words, man. And well done as usual. We went a little over 15 minutes, but that's okay. It was good conversation.
Exactly. All good, my man. Well, so Jimmy, thank you so much for joining and being super honest and open with everything going on. And we will see each other soon, I'm sure, at one of the expos.
Yes, sir. You got it, man. See you soon.
Thanks, everyone, and stay genius, my friends.
Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.